Okay. So today our class is so now I'm going to explain you about how can you create a permanent library in SAS. So what are the rules in SAS programming before writing our SAS program? So what are the rules are there? What rules are there? And so when you create a data set, so in the backend, what process will be taking place, and data step statements and options. So today I'm going to explain you these statements, these topics. Okay.
Okay.
Now see, first in SAS, so whenever you create any table or whenever you create any data set, so the data set by default it stores in some libraries. Okay. See
Mhm.
here we have some libraries here. So by default, this is our permanent library which we created. So we can relate those libraries. Okay, now see, these four libraries are nothing but predefined libraries which created by SAS system only. So even we cannot delete these libraries. See, if you delete the library, so you don't have any permission. So the SAS system libraries as well may not be reassigned. So you cannot delete these libraries. Okay.
Mhm.
So suppose when you create a data set, suppose data ds. When you create a data set, hello, hello.
Hello. Yes.
Now, can you hear my voice?
Yeah, I can hear, but your screen is gone.
Okay, again I will share you.
Uh,
Okay, so now the concept is, apart from these libraries, if you want to store any data set into permanent library, so what is the way to store it, and what is the way to create your permanent library? Okay.
mhm.
Now see here, in this toolbar we have an option, we have an icon called new library. So when you click on that new library, it will ask you to enter your library name. So give a reference to your library. So suppose my library name is Madhu. And see, there is one icon called enable at startup.
Mhm.
If you click on that enable button, whatever you're creating library, it will be shown permanently. If you don't click on this button, whatever you're creating library, it will be shown temporarily. It means that when you close the session, when you close the SAS session, your library will be gone. Okay, so I am clicking this enable button. Again, it is asking path. Path it means, so whenever you create a dataset in SAS library, so the same dataset will be get copied into this particular location, which you given here. Suppose see here I'm giving location of desktop. So there I'm creating. There is one folder called XYZ. Open it. So there is a Waldo on data set there. Open Madhu library. Okay, so I'm giving this path Madhu. Then okay. See, so when you run this program, your data set, your DS data set will be created in work library, because if you don't specify any library name, if you don't mention any library name, by default dataset will goes to work library only. So now in this time I want to store it into my library. I want to store it into my new library. So that is nothing but Madhu. Sorry, Madhu. Yes. So Madhu dot ds. So this is nothing but your library name, and this is your dataset name. Now see, if you run this program, now you won't get any data set over here. So
Mm-hmm.
because your library will be data set will be stored in the mouth library. At the same time, while creating a library, we have given one location, like nothing but desktop location. At the same time, whatever datasets you are creating in Madhu library, the same datasets will be getting copied into your PC location, your personal computer location, nothing but your desktop location. See here, if you open the Madhu library, sorry, Madhu folder, so you can get dataset also. Not only you can create dataset in SAS library, you can create your datasets in a PC location also. Okay, so now this is a way to create a permanent library. So when you close the session, okay, okay. Before to close the session, now I want to create one more library without clicking that enable button, so that you can see the difference. See here, I'm creating one more library called Sri. I'm not clicking here enable button, just it will be like this.
Mm-hmm.
And browse location, desktop. Here I'm giving a XYZ location. We don't have anything here. We have nothing here. And just click OK, so that your library has created here. The library name is Sri. So now if you want to create any library name dataset in Sri library, just give us Sri here. So your library will be created, dataset will be created here. At the same time, in the desktop location, open the XYZ folder. So here you can create dataset. Okay. Now see, your C library is nothing but it's temporary library, and this is your nothing but permanent library. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you close the SAS session, this particular library called Sri, it will be deleted automatically because it's a temporary library.
Mm-hmm.
See here, so Sri library is not there because it was a temporary library. So when you close the session, it will be deleted automatically. And Madhu library, see here, you will have dataset also. So this is about how to create library and how to use them. Okay.
Yes.
Then the next concept is there are some rules actually. If you write a SAS program, so in SAS program is nothing but it contains two levels. One is data step, and one is proc step. Oh yeah. Now see here. Suppose this is your basic SAS program. Okay. So what is this? See here. This is one statement. This is one statement, and this is one statement. This is one statement, and this is one statement. This is one statement. So how could I say it is a statement? Means whatever line, if it is ending with a semicolon, so it is called statement. Whatever line is ending with semicolon is a statement. That's it. So how many statements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Even if you write proc step, proc print data equal to data set name, just run. Now see here, this is also one statement and this is also one statement because it is ending with a semicolon. Okay, now the in a SAS programming first rule is every statement should end with a semicolon. So it should be end with semicolon. If you don't give a semicolon here, it will be in black color. So it means it's a syntax error. So you must specify, you must give a semicolon after a statement. So nothing but every statement must end with a semicolon. The next one is the second rule is both data step and proc step should end with the run statement. Should end with the run statement. So the system can understand this program has stopped over here. And the third rule is you can write single statement you can into multiple lines. So it is nothing but this is one statement. You can split it into multiple lines, no problem. The thing is, the entire statement should end with a semicolon. That's it. If it is ending semicolon over here, it is meaningless. So it should be closed here. So you can write a single statement into multiple lines, no problem. See if you write like this, Madhu dot ds, your data set will be created, no problem. So that's the third step, and fourth step is multiple statements you can write into single line. So this is one statement, this is one statement, this is one statement. So these are multiple statements. Now you can split into, you can write in a single statement also. You can write in a single line. So like this, even if it is also like this. You see, okay. So it should be mother dot. Okay, and the fourth point is SAS programming is not case sensitive. You can write in any case, nothing but you can write in prop case, uppercase, lowercase, whatever. See, some lines are I'm writing into uppercase, or some lines are in case. So you can write in any case, no problem. See, you will get the data because due to this step, we are creating one data set, and because of this step, that particular data set is going to be print at the dot. So your program, it can contains in any case letters, like letters in any case, uppercase or small case or lower case. So these are nothing but your SAS programming rules. Now SAS naming rules. SAS naming rules are nothing but variable names, variable name, and dataset name. That's it. So these are nothing but your SAS names. See here in the program. So these are nothing but SAS names. This total is nothing but your SAS program. So how can you specify a variable name, and what is the rule to specify your variable dataset name? Okay, the first point is your SAS, your variable name or your dataset name, it should be starts with alphabetic or underscore. See, it can be start with alphabetics or it can be start with underscore like this. This one underscore. See here, suppose ABC. You can get no problem. But it should not start with any special characters. Like suppose if your data set is if your dataset name contains a special symbol at starting position, you cannot get the data. You won't get this data. Now see, even you are not able to create a data set here. If you see in the lock, see what it is saying that syntax error. So expecting one of the following name, quoted string or underscore data underscore lost underscore null underscore. It means the dataset name, it can be starts with alphabetic or alpha underscore, but not any special characters. Or it can be contains both alphabets and numerics. No problem. It takes. Okay. So now, what is the maximum length that you can specify that you can specify for data set? It means you can specify letters up to 32 letters for a data set. Okay, so there is a maximum length. And the second point is this is not case sensitive again. So you can specify in any case. So this is not case sensitive. SAS naming is also not case sensitive. Even this is also SAS name. So you can specify in any case. It is also not case sensitive. SAS names also not case sensitive, but not case sensitive, but data is case sensitive. Always, it's very important. Data is always case sensitive. See, so data is nothing but this is your data. So this data is it's case sensitive. Case sensitive in the sense when you enter the data, it's up to you. You can enter the data in uppercase or lowercase. But when you want to filter the data from the data set, suppose I want to create one more data set into Madhu library called test from ABC123 set Madhu dot ABC123. Here I want to filter the data like if salary equal to or if name equal to 5000, sorry, name equal to XYZ. Now what happens here, your data, suppose if you specify in uppercase here, but see here XYZ name is there in the ABC123. If you open the ABC123, you can easily understand here. Okay, now here XYZ is in a small case, but we are searching as a uppercase name. See, you won't get the data. In the test data set, nothing is there. Why? Because even there is no errors actually. Even there is no error. Why? Because it is about case sensitive. We have a name in a small case, but we are searching as a uppercase. So should be whatever case is there in the data, you have to follow that. So that you can get the data. Otherwise, you won't get. Now you will get the data. So this is case sensitive. So your data is case sensitive. Nothing but when you filter the data, when you want to filter the data, when you want to segregate the data. So at that time, you have to you have to specify the data as per your raw data. So this is about case sensitive. And so these are the SAS naming rules. Okay. So I explained how can you create a permanent library in SAS and what are the SAS programming rules, both data step and clock step, data step backend process. Okay. Now see. Okay. Now when you execute your base SAS program, when you execute this base SAS program, what is happening in the backend? What is happening in the backend? So how this dataset is creating here, and all the records are going to stored in the dataset or one by one. So I will tell you now. When you execute a sample SAS program, first what happens in the backend? This program will undergo syntax checking. So whether this program it contains any syntax errors or not. So if the program is not having any syntax error, then it compiles and executes. First, it undergoes syntax checking. If there is any error, so suppose if there is some errors are there, so what happens? Your program will be execution program will be stopped. Then it prints error in the log. Then it prints error in the log. Suppose if your program is everything is perfect, it doesn't have any error in the program. So what happens in that case? What happens, then your program will be compiled and executed. Your program will be compiled and executed. Okay, in the compile and execution level, what happens? Your system will create three items. One is input buffer, and one is PTV, and one is descriptive information. Descriptive information. Okay, see here, when you execute a SAS program, when you execute a SAS program, first what happens? It goes to syntax checking. If there is some errors, then it will stop the execution and it gives error in the log. Error in the log. Suppose there is no error in the SAS program, then what happens? Your program it goes compile and execute. Then when compile in the compilation level, it creates system will create three items. One is input buffer, one is PDB, and one is descriptive information. So see here, descriptive information is nothing but your table information. How many variables are there? How many records are there? And what is data type of the variable? So that's nothing but descriptive information. Information about tables, that is nothing but descriptive information. Okay, now see, when you execute this program, first in the backend it creates one dummy table. It creates one dummy tables with some columns with rows with some rows. Okay, and when this data statement executes successfully, it assigns a dataset name. So what is dataset name now? ABC123. So when infill statement executes properly, system will identify where is your source data. So I have data in data lines. So that's why here I specified data lines. So now system will understand the data has to be read from the data lines. When input statement executes successfully, your variables will be assigned to your table. So I said dummy table will be created in the backend, right? So for the dummy table, when input statement executes successfully, these columns will be assigned to your table, your dummy table. Okay. Now when data lines execute successfully, every record, not see remember this is very important. All the records it won't get stored into table. So every time one iteration will be takes place. One iteration is nothing but one record will it goes and assign to your table. So that's nothing but your iteration. Okay. So when one record is assigned to your table, then it stops your data. Again, what happens? It goes like a loop. Again, go data statement. Sorry, data statement in file import data lines and the second record. So like that, it takes up to n number of records. So maximum records you have in the raw data lines. So this is your backend process. Again, I will tell you. See here, when your basic SAS program executes, when you submit your base as program for the execution, first it undergoes syntax checking. Then, if you have any error there, it will stop. If you don't have any error, then it will go compile and execute. In the compilation and execution level, the system will create three items. One is input buffer, one is PDB, and one is descriptive information. See in the backend process, when data statement executes, it has any dataset name ABC123. In file statement, system will identify where is your source data. Input statement. By the help of input statement only, your data will be read into the table. And now see here, what is input buffer and what is PTB, what is the descriptive information. See, when data line statement executes this particular record, what happens? It goes to input buffer first. The first record it goes to input buffer, there it will store for some time, and after that, this particular record it goes to PDB and PDB to table. Descriptive information is nothing but your table information, your data set information. So now this particular record it comes from input buffer to PDB to table. Okay. So when the record is coming from input buffer to PDB what will do? PDB will add two more variables. One is underscore, n underscore, and one is underscore error underscore. It's very important questions. These two variables are very important. You will get this interview question also. So what is the main use of underscore n underscore and what does it do? Underscore n underscore also. Okay. So remember, when the records are reading, when the records are starting reading from the input buffer to table, so first the record it goes to from input buffer to PDB. In the PDB level, when this PDB will create two automatic variables, one is underscore n underscore underscore error underscore. See, so what is the value of underscore n underscore? Up, along with these three variables, system will add two more variables. One is underscore n underscore underscore error underscore. This by default value of underscore n underscore value is 1. 1. And by default value for underscore n underscore value is 0. It means when you read the first record, the first record will goes to input buffer, from the input buffer to PDB, so that PDB will create these two variables. So because you have completed one iteration, so that's why it will be 1. And what is underscore value is nothing but if you don't have any error in the program, so it will be 0. When you have any error, it becomes 1. So that's it. So this is underscore value. Okay, and when you are going to second iteration, so this value will, for this value it adds +1. So it means it will be 2, and it will be 0 only because even you don't have any error now. So if you have any error, simply it will become 1. And suppose if you have a third iteration also, again it will add +3. So it means 3, and it will be 0 because we don't have any error here. If you have any error, it will become 1. Okay. Now see, I will show you these variables here. But here what happens, that system, whatever variables are creating by system, these two variables, you cannot see this variable in the data set. If you want to see those variables, see here, I will show you here. Underscore n underscore underscore underscore. Now I'm creating two variables. One is n. Here I'm storing the values of underscore and underscore. Again, I'm creating one more variable for these values, so that this particular variable value will be stored into this variable value. Now see here. Now you can able to see this. See, 1200. It means for this first iteration, this value will be 1 and the error value will be 0, because we don't have any error here, so it will be 0 only. And when you start to reading, when you start reading second record, for this value it add +1. So it is simply nothing but number of records, number of observation count. So how many number of observations are there in your particular data set? So it will add your number of observations. And this variable is nothing but it is indicates what, if you have any error it will be 1, if you don't have any error it will be 0. That's it. So this is your backend process. PDV means program data vector, so it's an abbreviation for PDV, program data vector. So what happens when the records are start reading from input buffer to PDB, this PDB will add two more variables which are underscore n underscore underscore n underscore, and after that this particular record will goes to data set. So this is your backend process. You got it?
Yeah.
Do you have any doubts here in the backend process? It's very important actually, because if you are a SAS programmer, when you write any SAS program, so where it is executing exactly, so you should be able to understand those concepts. So what is happening in the backend? What is the input buffer? What is the PDB? And what is underscore n underscore underscore r underscore? See, when it becomes 1, suppose here if you forget to give a dollar symbol over here, so what happens here? Your particular these data won't read into name variable, because in SAS every variable treated as a numeric variable, but it contains a character. So what happens here? You won't get the data. So you have a error here. You don't have any syntax error, but you have a logical error. The logical error means in the data. Syntax error means, suppose if you forget to give giving semicolon, or if you write a spelling mistakes here like this, so this is nothing but syntax error. So in this case, what happens? So it means you have error here. So this value will be 1 and this value will be 1. And here for the second record, this value will be 2 and this value will be 1 only, because you have a error. Now see, 1 and 2. It will be only 1 for the particular variable. For this underscore underscore variable, we have only two values. One is 0 and one is 1. 0 means no error, 1 means error. That's it. Okay, now, so I explained what is the data step backend process, and What are the data step statements and options? See, this is your data step. This is your data step. How many statements are there? Just now I told you, data statement, infile statement, input statement, data line statement, trans statement. Now we will see what is the data statement and what are the options are over here. Okay, so now what is the main use of data statement means? Just it is useful to assign a data set name. It is useful to name, it is useful to assign a name for the data set. So that is the main use of data statement. And there are some options here. So you can specify some options over here. So I will tell you those options here. Data statement and its options. First option is keep, drop, rename, label, password, where. So now first we'll see these options. Okay, now what is the keep option? See, suppose here I have variables like salary. Here I'm giving one more variable called location. This is India and is from USA. Okay, so here the symbol is required. Why? Because we have characters here. Now there are four variables. There are four variables and two observations. There are four variables and two observations. Now my requirement is I don't want to read all four variables data into ABC 1 to 3. So my requirement is I want to read only two or one variable. So it means only ID and name. So you cannot read a particular two variables without using any options. See here. So whenever you want, if you want to control the variables, but if whenever you want to read only particular variables, you can use keep and drop. Suppose now I want to keep only one variable. Keep equal to variable name. What is a variable name? Suppose to say I want to read only ID. So that's it. You know what happens in the backend? Whenever input statement executes, see, first this option will not execute, will not be executed. First, what happens? First, this data statement will execute. Then after that, infile statement. Then after that, input statement. Then after the deadlines. After the run statement, and after that, this particular option will be executed because this option works in PDB level. PDB level means here when the record is reading, when the record is sorting. Sorry, reading from the input buffer to PDB, then here this particular option will execute, nothing but keep and drop. So what happens when you execute input statement? When you execute input statement, these all the variables will be assigned to your table: ID, name, salary, and location. So but it goes to input buffer and it goes to PDB. But when the variables are going from the PDB to table, this option will execute. You got it?
Yeah.
So when those variables are reading from the PDB, sorry, when those variables are reading from the PDB to table, here this option will be executed. Which option? Keep option. But here what is specified in the keep option? We specified only one variable, that is ID. So now this particular variable only will be assigned to your data set. You got it? So what happens in the real time? So unnecessarily again we are reading this data, right? From the input buffer to PDB. So what happens in the back in the real time? We don't use this option. Instead of this option, we use keep statement. First statement will execute first, and after that options will execute. Now see what happens. When this statement executes, input statement, at the same time, the second one, this statement will execute. So here only this stops. It doesn't goes to PDB and input buffer. So this is very efficient when compared to options. Okay, so this will come in the future class. No need to worry about this. Just what are the data set options means? Keep. What is the use of keep? We can keep the variables which you want to put into the data set. ID and salary. Okay. Okay. So what is the next option? Drop. So drop is nothing but, so these particular variables will not be assigned to your table. Nothing but these variables will be get dropped. So remaining variables you will get ID, name, name and location. Either you can use keep or drop, depends on your requirement. Suppose there are 100 variables are there to be read. Out of 100 variables, I want to keep only 2 variables. Which option do you prefer? Uh, do you prefer keep or drop?
So keep.
So you can keep, you should go with keep option, because if you use keep option you can specify only 2 variables. But if you specify drop option, you have to specify 98 variables. So depends on your requirement. You need to go with keep or drop. Okay.
So I have one question.
Yes.
So like here in the data data step, like right now you deleted. So if you put that just you showed before, like after the input you did the keep or drop option there. I mean, does it make any changes, or like although you mentioned that in the PDB step at the background or backstage, it might make a difference, but in the output it could be the same, right?
Yeah, yeah. But in output only, see, in the final output, whatever you're specifying these options, according to those options, you will get the output.
Okay.
Okay. But when in the backend, these options will execute, these variables will be assigned to your table, but from the PDB, it selects only particular variables.
Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that is about keep and drop. And one more statement is the rename. One more option is the rename. See here, I'm calling these are nothing but options. These are nothing but statements. See, you can see the difference between these two, options and statements. Whatever you specify after the statement, it is nothing but a statement. Whatever is specified before this statement, this is called options. Remember, here I also specified some options like DSD, DLM. So these are nothing but options because we are specifying these before semicolon, so it becomes options. Whatever you are writing after the semicolon, it is a statement. Okay. What is the rename? Rename is nothing but it is useful to rename your column names. It renames the column names. It renames the variable names. Rename equal to, see what is the syntax? Rename equal to, open one more bracket. What is your old name? Suppose my old name is ID. What is the new name? employee employee underscore ID. See here. Now this particular ID will be renamed as EMP ID. You can check in the data set. EMP underscore ID. Okay. Okay. So what is the next option? What is the next option? Label. See here. What label will do? By using label option, you can assign a description for your data set.
description for your dataset. Suppose this is the dataset name is nothing but AE. AE. So I don't know what is the AE dataset. Okay. So I want to assign one description. What does the AE means? So it means that AE means adverse event. You can specify like this. So every time you cannot specify, more than 10 characters per data set. So you simply assign data sets like in 2 or 3 digits, and after that you can assign a description. What is the AE? What is the AE exactly? So AE is nothing but adverse event. Or sometimes you can specify like this SC. SC is nothing but study completion data set. Sometimes you can specify like this POP. POP. What is POP? Population data set. Sometimes you can specify like this. What is CM? Concomitant medication. What is a MH? MH. What is MH means? Medical history. So, but these data sets you can see in the clinical trials. Clinical trials. Okay.
Mhm.
So suppose here I'm specifying data set called DS. So what is a DS means? It is a data set. So you can specify like this. It means you can see the dataset full description of your dataset. Even if you specify shortcut name for dataset, you have to specify the description for the dataset. So other person can easily understand what information is exactly there. Okay.
Okay.
Now see here. Uh, See but here see the dataset name is only DS. But when you open the dataset, you can see here where table name is dataset. You can see the dataset name over here, or you
Mhm.
can see the dataset name over here. V table is nothing but dataset. But before, without see here, I'm removing the label. Just I'm executing the dataset. Again, I'm opening the dataset here. See what is the label name here? Madhu.ds. Here also Madhu.ds. So it means even you cannot understand what dataset is. So if you apply any label so that they can easily understand.